Sziasztok! Jó estét mindenkinek! Szia, Levi!
Hello! Sziasztok!
Én itthonról, Levi pedig a Good Spiritből, a jól ismert kóstolóteremből jelentkezik. Köszöntünk mindenkit! Ma többen már közületek benn voltak 30-án a Good Spiritben az Ardbeg Day rendezvényen, és talán már páran kóstoltátok is a Blacket, amit ezentúl a Good Spiritben rendszeresen meg tudtok kóstolni. A mai estének az apropója az, hogy egy kicsit az Ardbegről, a Blackről és Ardbeggel kapcsolatos dolgokról beszélgessünk Ted Lelekassal, aki az Ardbeg anyacégének a Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy-nek a képviselője, aki már egyébként itt van velünk a háttérben, és be is fogom mindjárt kapcsolni az élőadásba. Hát Ardbeg. Hogy állsz az Ardbeggel, Levi?
Nekem az egyik kedvencem az Ardbeg. Nagyon-nagyon kedvelem. Úgyhogy alig várom már, hogy ezt a Blacket meg lehessen kóstolni. Úgyhogy már be van készítve ide nekem.
Már nekem is be van készítve, és nagyon jó. Hát te nyertél, nálad egy egész palack van. Nálam pedig itt a jól ismert Good Spirit-es minta, amit egyébként mondom, ti is megkóstolhattok már a Good Spiritbe, úgyhogy ezt hamarosan is ki fogom magamnak tölteni. Na, hát 1815, ez az alapítás éve. 205 év történetéről beszélünk, több tulajdonosváltás, 2 bezárás 1981-ben és 96-ban, majd 97-től a Glenmorangie Companyhoz kerültek, ami 2004-ben a Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy cég alá, vagy céghez került, és az Ardbeg és a Glenmorangie, 2 lepárló ugye ehhez a céghez tartozik. Ted is a Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy képviselője, ugye azt már ugye korábban mondtam, és azt hiszem, hogy az Ardbeg az szerintem elég sok mindenkinek a kedvence, már aki szereti a füstös viszkit. Úgyhogy én be is hozom akkor Tedet. Hello Ted, good evening.
Hey guys, how are you?
We are fine, thanks.
I thought while I was on mute, I was muted and both hygienic as well. But I was actually just playing with the masks that we had here in Greece for Ardbeg Day on Saturday. So these are my souvenirs.
How was the Ardbeg Day?
Well, listen, I mean, this year, as you know, with everything that's been happening all around the world, it can be very glamorous and very mass. But we had a small gathering, very careful, as of course we have to. And we had a fantastic, what we call between us Ardbeg, which was a fantastic pairing of Ardbeg with barbecue, slow cooked, slow smoked barbecue meat, which was absolutely
great.
Yeah.
Okay, we got Levi back. We have some connection problems in the bar. Oh.
Well.
Yeah, it's the connection is not the best in the bar.
Yes, I was about to say that I love his T-shirt.
Yeah.
Figyelj! Lesét!
Okay.
Megyek a bolt.
So Levi is moving downstairs.
Okay.
With his computer, so. Látunk, Levi. Yes, this is the bar. You have been there.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
My armchair.
Yeah, it's your armchair.
Yes.
Okay, and Levi just took his bottle of Ardbeg Black with him.
Good.
Okay, so now
I've got mine here too, by the way.
Okay, and I've got the sample.
Okay.
So we're gonna taste it. We're gonna taste it during the event,
yeah.
and talk about this one. Okay, so nice masks. So maybe we can use it as a POS later.
Yeah, I can send you some.
Great. Levi is elhelyezkedik. Okay. Yeah, probably Levi will sell some whiskey.
Why not? I mean, with pleasure.
I'm just trying to find the perfect internet feeder, so yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
They told me I'm not allowed to sit in your chair, so I stand it up.
Well, from me, it's fine. You have my permission. Don't worry.
Thanks.
Okay, so we are all in black.
Yep.
Ted, last year you have been here at the opening of the Ardbeg Embassy, or the opening ceremony of the Ardbeg Embassy. And we didn't have the time to talk a little bit about yourself. So can you please tell us a few words about yourself and your career at Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy? How did you start?
Sure, with pleasure. Actually, funnily enough, by coincidence, today is my 3-year anniversary with Moet Hennessy.
Ah, congratulations!
Cheers to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's been a tremendous experience so far. I started in the wine and spirit business about 15, 16 years ago. Initially in wine, and then branching out to spirits as well. It's been a hobby of mine for quite a while, until I decided to, until I felt the need to share what I was learning and all the experiences, the fantastic experiences that I was having, all the new horizons that it's been opening to me, the new places that I've been visiting, the people that I've been meeting. So I became a blogger and a journalist back in 2006 here in Greece. I started writing for Greece's national wine and spirits magazine, and that took me to down a course of professional, let's say, evolution. Shortly afterwards, I became a judge in wine and spirit competitions internationally. And a few years later, I became part of the International Federation of Wine and Spirits Journalists and Writers. Eventually, I rose to the rank of vice president of this federation. And then, especially through social media, which I like a lot and I use quite a lot in my day-to-day work, I started building an international profile. And 3 years ago, in early 2017, Moet Hennessy came to me. They were considering to open a position for an educator for the whole region of Central and Southern Europe. They offered me the part. They interviewed me for the part. Up until then, to be honest with you, as a journalist and a blogger, I had decided to be impartial, so not to be affiliated with any brands. I didn't used to work with any brands or wineries or spirits brands or whatever. But then again, when Moet Hennessy comes to you and offers you such a position, it's very difficult to say no. It's what they say. They made me an offer that I couldn't refuse, as they say in the movies. So I didn't think about it at all, and I started this fantastic journey, as I said, 3 years ago today, officially. What I do is I head up anything to do with education, events and tastings and training, professional trainings in the whole of the Central and Southern Europe region. And that comprises 15 countries,
Wow.
with Hungary being one of them, of course. My base is my hometown of Athens, Greece, but especially before the COVID-19 affair, I was hardly ever at home, because as you can imagine, when you're responsible for 15 countries, you're living on a plane and a hotel and an airport, basically, which is fine, because I really, really like this part of the work. It's a bit tricky sometimes with balancing time with the family as well, but I manage. I don't complain. I visit quite a few countries, Croatia, Romania, and Greece being central markets in this region. But then quite a few, especially recent visits to Hungary, Bulgaria, Cyprus, Malta. So, countries all across this region. As the name of Moet Hennessy, I think you mentioned it before, Moet Hennessy is the wine and spirits arm of LVMH, of Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy. So we're part of the leader in the global luxury brand sector. The main bit of our portfolio starts with wine and spirits, or rather I should say champagne and spirits to be precise. So we own 5 champagne houses. Moet de Chandon, as the name suggests, Veuve Clicquot, Ruinart, Krug, and Dom Pérignon. Hennessy Cognac, of course. Belvedere Vodka. And then my two favorite sister distilleries, Glenmorangie and Ardbeg. Both fantastic and so similar and so different at the same time.
Do you still work with wines and champagne?
Oh yes, quite a lot. So I mean, quite a lot of my time is taken up by champagne because I'm responsible for the whole portfolio of products, even to extending to our portfolio of still wines, which is a lesser known, let's say, part of the portfolio. Still wines, mostly from the New World. People usually have heard of Cloudy Bay from New Zealand, and other very big and very important names in the wine industry. So I work with all brands. I communicate all brands. Sometimes you can say that I live and breathe all brands. Of course, I have my my favorites and the ones that I feel closer to. But yes, it's a job that keeps me busy and let's just say never bored.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. I would do that. Do you live in Scotland?
No, I live in Athens in Greece.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine there, George Papadopoulos. Maybe you know him.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I think New Zealand will be an important part of this evening because because Ardbeg Black has matured in Pinot Noir casks, sourced from New Zealand. Okay, Levi.
Yeah, I'm good to go with the questions. I'm so excited about my questions. I wanted to hear the answer, so let's get it on.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Before we talk about Ardbeg Black, we have Kati with us, and she's also congratulating you to your 3rd anniversary at LMBH.
Thank you.
Okay. So some interesting facts about Ardbeg. Ardbeg is loved by many here in Hungary, so it's a cult whiskey here as well. And it's very hard. That was very hard to get the special releases, the special bottlings here in Hungary. But now, as the bar and the shop became Ardbeg Embassy, all the people, all the fans can taste. And hopefully will taste or will be able to taste the future releases as well. But of course, the most sold one and the most loved one is the 10-year-old and Ugada. Do you know how many bottles of 10-year-old are sold each year, or how many cases approximately?
I'm sure you'd like to know numbers, but we don't. We never talk about numbers. But I will tell you that they're never enough, and because as you said, Ardbeg is extremely popular. I mean, even I'm every day surprised as to how popular, how much people like this whiskey, this brand, how they associate with the brand. And obviously, it's not as much as one would think it would be. It's not a huge distillery, and it's not supposed to be. But we're always trying to satisfy demand, and always hoping for more, because demand is always increasing. As I'm sure you know, the peaty, the smoked whiskey category is the fastest rising in the whiskey category in general. And you know, when you have one of the superstars of this segment, then it's understandable that demand is always on the up.
Yeah, and we know that there was an expansion in the distillery, or is it still ongoing?
It's an ongoing project, basically, but it's something that has been on the card for a while, and as I said, it's purely responding to the love of the people and of the market.
Okay. Levi, it's your turn.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm just so excited about never done this interviews before. So I really tried to get some questions what my customers are asking from me, and I know we couldn't talk about years for the special edition ones, but I'm really curious that you're using all these different barrels for the special edition one. Is the peat number is always the same, or you always use this?
Well, listen, the important thing, whenever you hold in your hands anything that's an Ardbeg bottling, is that there's always an Ardbeg signature. There's always a house style, as we say. So the number is, I mean, the magnitude is always more or less the same, because you have to have this signature. Of course, when you're using different barrels, different finishes, different touches, whatever, the style changes, and that's the whole point. Because you want to broaden the range and keep the fans and keep the consumers always hungry for more. But as I said, there needs at all times to be an underlying signature that says, even with your eyes closed, that this is an Ardbeg, period. So that's down to a few factors, and among them is the peat as well.
Okay, and that's the reason why you always use this same, because I see and the Blaaack, which I have here, that the color, it's black bottle, but you always use the same green color, and every Ardbeg, but if I'm wrong, just correct me. It's going to the same type of with the bottles. So is there a reason for that? Why is this green, and why is this bottle?
Well, listen, green is a very crucial color in ancient Celtic history, and it's part of the magic of the legacy, let's say, of Islay. And as you know, Ardbeg is very, very close to this history. It lives and breathes the history of Islay. As for the shape of the bottle, I'm sure you've been to the distillery, right?
Yeah.
It kind of mirrors the shape of the pot stills, and that's why it will always be of this size, apart from a few special releases here and there.
Yeah, and of course the black color for the black bottle is because of the name.
Because of Ardbeg Blaaack, which is the theme of this year. So this is a one.
Yeah, I've tasted some releases in the past few days. I was in self lockdown because I was preparing for my exam at the university, and one of them was. So I've tasted some editions, including Supernova 2019. That's a great one, and as you talked about the Ardbeg character, the Ardbeg style, it was present in all of them, and you can recognize Ardbeg style in all of them in many ways. Absolutely. But if you close your eyes and just have a sip or a second sip, you can definitely taste that it's Ardbeg.
It has to be unmistakable. It has to be an Ardbeg. Of course, and Lavi knows this because we've had trainings there as well, and he's heard me talk about this. The one thing that I'm very passionate about when we're talking about Ardbeg, and especially Ardbeg 10, is that, and that's a core part of my education program and my training, is that people always trying to see and to smell and to experience beyond the smoke and beyond the peatiness, because with such a powerfully smoky whiskey, it's very easy, especially for people who are not experienced whiskey tasters, whiskey drinkers, to be surprised, to be caught by the smokiness and stay there. But for me, it's always important to help people, go a few steps beyond, because the beauty of Ardbeg, in terms of flavors, in terms of aromas, lies beyond the smoke, and what it is about the whole taste and aromatic profile that the smoke brings out. The proximity to the sea, the iodine, the salinity, the salt, all the other tastes that the wood, the barrel finishes have to offer. It's a wealth of aromas and tastes. But always underneath there has to be a very, very clear, very, very present common denominator, which is the Ardbeg style, the peatiness of the Ardbeg style.
Yeah. Ardbeg has a very stable core range, but the fans have been waiting for new releases, new permanent releases, and last year we got the 19-year-old, and it was quite a surprise for me, because distilleries used to choose, for example, 12-year-old or 15-year-old or 18-year-old, but it's 19-year-old. Is there any it's not unusual age statement?
Well, I mean, it does happen. I mean, for instance, a long time ago, my baptism of fire in Islay single malts was Bowmore 17, which remains one of my favorite whiskeys, I have to say. But if you think about it, and the more people get to know Ardbeg and get closer to Ardbeg, they realize that there's nothing conventional about Ardbeg, and there's nothing usual about Ardbeg. It's all about at least unusual stuff, or doing things our own way. So it's just a question of the master distiller and the people around him finding different stages in the life cycle of a whiskey that at that particular point of maturation bring about what they're looking for. I mean, in the case of 19, it was all about this very precious, this very the holy grail of Islay whiskey, which is the fine line, the balance between raw power on the one hand and elegance on the other. And for me, if there's something about Ardbeg, and especially these kinds of whiskeys, is that particular balance. And 19 was all about that, and obviously it was reached at that particular point.
Yeah, that was reached. I've tasted it last year.
Yeah.
But unfortunately not in the bar.
Yeah.
So that that Levi is working in Good Spirit Bar, and maybe your viewers have met Levi in the bar before. Levi, it's your turn.
Yeah, and my question is with that is, as I realized that if somebody is a fan of Ardbeg, he comes in and he knows what he's want to drink, even for the special edition ones. But how is Ardbeg it's challenging to bring in new customers, even youngsters, and peated whiskey is getting more and more popular in Hungary. But how do you reach out for the young ones? I mean, if there's any competitions that you can manage, like can you make cocktails with Ardbeg, or how does it work?
Well, listen, I mean, first of all, as I said in the beginning, this brand, this Ardbeg world, let's say, is every day for me a new surprise. It's like magic. I mean, for a while I thought that Ardbeg is the sort of whiskey and the level of whiskey that only appeals to very mature and experienced whiskey drinkers. But I see lots of young people embracing the brand, liking it very much, and that is a combination of a lot of things. First of all, the fact that, as I said, Ardbeg is never conventional. Our branding and our storytelling, I have to say, is extremely topical and very, very exciting. And we like to put it out to people. We like to share our stories with people. Every bottling has a story. Every different label has a story. They're all interesting stories, and the stories that appeal to all kinds of people, all kinds of whiskey drinkers. Even, you know, our POSM material, you know, our bottlings, our things like Shorty the dog, things like these make the brand, make the image much more approachable. So it's not like really old school, stuck up whiskey. It's it's fun. It's laid back, and as I'm sure you've seen, the whole let's say character and the whole feeling of Isla, of Port Ellen, the people of Ardbeg is exactly that. Very laid back, very warm, very hospitable. You know, people who like to laugh a lot, to enjoy life, that sort of thing. As for cocktails and reaching out to the bartending community, yes, we do that. We do encourage people to, and especially professionals, to explore the power and the width, the breadth, the richness of smoke as an ingredient. As a matter of fact, maybe you know that last year we launched a program called Masters of Smoke, and this was exactly that, a bartender training program across the world to educate professionals as to how they can use the smokiness of Ardbeg as an ingredient in cocktails, or as an ingredient even in food pairing, to bring about new experiences for whiskey drinkers.
Nice. Yeah, we actually make a couple nice cocktails with Ardbeg, but I never seen it in advertising as making a big, because it's got this whole rich taste, and not just, as you say, not just the smoke, but the saltiness, and you can make some amazingly good cocktails with it. And
yes.
People normally not using single malts as cocktail ingredients, but they're working really good.
Well, listen, I mean, in our mentality, and that goes for I think the whole group of Moet Hennessy, but also individual houses, and especially both Glenmorangie and Ardbeg. One thing that we never do is to dictate to people how to enjoy their whiskey. We will always make suggestions. We will always give advice and tips, but people should be free to enjoy their whiskey in any way they like. We will never say, no, you know, this is wrong. We will always encourage people to explore new horizons, new experiences, and we actually learn from them quite a lot. So we like whenever we embark in programs that have to get us to interact with bartenders, we don't only share our own knowledge and experience, but we actually get their feedback, get their experience, get their everyday contact with the customers, which is valuable for us. So it's an ongoing process.
Yeah, I know that, Levi, you have prepared some nice cocktails on the Ardbeg Day, made with Ardbeg.
I remember I tasted quite a few last time at the opening of the Ardbeg Embassy as well.
Yeah. Our head bartender Rico is a really big fan of Isla whiskeys. So and also Ollie's. They both big fans of these Isla whiskeys. So we fight using them a lot.
And
we also have
one other thing that I keep telling people, and that's also a factor that has to do with the richness and the wealth of aromas and flavors in any other bottling, is that these are whiskeys that are extremely gastronomic. I am, as maybe you know, maybe you can see, I am a foodie. I like my food, and food pairing is always one of my my focuses. Be it with wine, be it with champagne, be it with spirits, and in some cases it's not really easy. But I can tell you for a fact that in the case of Ardbeg, it's I wouldn't say it's easy, but Ardbeg is a sort of whiskey that pushes you to be creative. So especially, I mean, if you pair with smoke, that's the easy part, because there's quite a lot of popular smoked delicacies. You know, smoked cheeses, smoked salmon, smoked cold cuts and hams, whatever.
Bacon, yeah.
Well, yeah, bacon, exactly. But if you go beyond that, and if you think of the salt and the salinity, then you can do stuff with seafood as well. When you talk about the nuttiness and the earthiness of some of the whiskeys, then you can talk about truffle and mushroom. When you're looking at the buttery element of some of the whiskeys, then you can talk about cheese. So and in some cases, when you look at the dark, more kind of spicy aromas, then you can talk about chili, coffee, or chocolate. So there's a fantastic world out there of things that you can do with Ardbeg that for me are extremely challenging, very, very creative. And also, to go back to your original question, for us, they are recruiters. You know, there are ways of recruiting more and more people onto Ardbeg, basically. And let's be honest. I mean, for total whiskey novices, the smoky whiskey category is not an easy one. So you have to be, you know, very gentle, very gradual. And for this, Glenmorangie, our sister distillery, has a lot of bottlings to offer that fit exactly that profile. But if you position Ardbeg right, and if you do it in a fun and creative way, like I said, for instance, with food pairing, with barbecue, with sweets, with chocolate, with whatever, then you know it's a whole new different ballgame.
Okay, yeah. Last year at the Ardbeg Embassy opening ceremony, we had a food pairing, and it was great. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the new releases. In the meantime, we got some questions in the comment section. There's another release, the Wee Beastie, the 5-year-old, which will be a permanent release in the core range, as I know. And we have a question from Adam. Can you please share some details on when Wee Beastie is going to be generally available in Europe?
Well, you know that with this whole COVID-19 situation, a lot of things have been delayed. But you know, the plan is to have Wee Beastie available quite soon, because for us it's also very exciting. It's going to be a very interesting broadening of the core range. It's going to be a very interesting expression of the Ardbeg house style that we're really, really looking forward for people to get to know. So hopefully it will be sooner rather than later, is what I can say.
Yeah, I know that it's hard for every distilleries, that situation, because as I know, Scotland is still in lockdown or partially in lockdown, and I know that there's distilleries which are still closed. So yeah, that should be hard.
But we're very, very keen on Wee Beastie going to, coming to the market, at the earliest opportunity.
Yeah, the fans really miss the Wee Beastie on Ardbeg Day in Budapest. So I hope that they can taste it in the bar very soon.
Absolutely.
Okay, we have another question from Gergely. It's, hi Ted, after having 3 main editions in the core range for many years, Ardbeg released 3 new members in the core range in the past 2 years. That was the Anno, the 90-year-old, and the Wee Beastie. Okay, we have just talked about that. in the past couple of minutes. The question is that it seems to be a big change in the strategy, and there's a lot is going on around Ardbeg right now. Any hints about the future ideas of the plan or the plans to extend Ardbeg's range in the future?
Well, I mean, as we just discussed, the range is being extended as we speak. So yes, I mean, if you think about it, and I'm sure hardcore Ardbeg fans know the history. The history of Ardbeg has been one of uncertainty, turbulence, adventure. You know, nothing really stable, nothing really easy. So when it came out, when the initial core range was formed, no one really knew what the peaty, what the smoky whiskey category would be like. And the evolution and the progress has been stellar. So it's very important for a distillery to be able to respond to changes in demand, changes in market conditions, and that's what we've been doing. For the future, all I can tell you is that there's always, in both Glenmorangie and Ardbeg, there's always lots of experimentation, lots of listening to the fans. I mean, the role of the committee for us is crucial. It's huge because it keeps us very, very close to our really close supporters and fans, and their input, their feedback, right from the market, right from the heart of the fan base, the consumer base, is very, very important. So I think we, with the 19 and with We Beastie, the core range is going to be pretty wide, pretty extended for a while. But as I said, there's always things down the pipeline.
Okay. Yeah, and we know that the closest supporters of Ardbeg are the members of the Ardbeg Committee.
Absolutely.
In every
their role and their support and their input is priceless.
In every year we have a committee release. Last year we had the drum, which I've tasted in the last few days. It was interesting, but and the year before last year it was the grooves, and now this year we have the Blaaack.
Yep.
And prepare your Glencairns, guys. Levi.
Always prepared.
Yeah. Levi, have you tasted it?
Nope.
Today?
That's my first
not
time.
yet. Oh,
No,
okay.
they didn't let me taste it.
Okay, it's the first time. Yeah, so talking about a little bit about Ardbeg Blaaack. It was matured in New Zealand Pinot Noir casks.
Right.
What's the connection between Ardbeg and New Zealand? Is there any story part of this, or?
There's a very interesting story. As you know, this year marks the 20-year anniversary from the formation of the committee, and the special edition has an extra, let's say, symbolic significance. So it's even more, let's say, closely dedicated to the committee members, who are seen as the black sheep of the whiskey community because they're always so creative and restless and unconventional. Now, the story behind New Zealand is that a part of the creative process behind the making of this limited edition is that we wanted, the people of the distillery wanted to go to the farthest place on the planet from Islay, and that's the town is New Zealand. And there's also one more factor that connects Islay and New Zealand, well, Scotland, New Zealand, is the fact that they have a similar ratio between sheep and human, which is 7-to-1. 7 sheep to 1 human person, which makes it quite kind of interesting as well. As you know, the distillery, the group, the Moet Hennessy group, has a foothold in the New Zealand wine industry. We own the iconic, one of the most iconic wineries in the world, and number 5 winery in New Zealand, Cloudy Bay, one of the most amazing success stories in recent global wine history. And Cloudy Bay is a wine producer, mainly known for Sauvignon Blanc, which is a typical grape that people associate with New Zealand, but also Pinot Noir, with a very, very interesting touch on Pinot Noir, as they grow it in both Marlborough and Central Otago, in both parts of the island. And with that in mind, they decided to put all this into the creative process and put together this latest limited release, Blaaack, which is matured in Pinot Noir barrels. And for me, it was a fantastic decision that I'm so happy that they took, basically. One of the questions that you submitted to me initially is which one is my favorite Ardbeg, and usually, you know, I'm trying to find ways to avoid these questions, obviously for political reasons, let's say, but this time I won't. I will tell you that up until very, very recently, my favorite Ardbeg was Ano. I mean, I like them all, I have to say. I mean, Ugedal is fantastic. You know, I see the reaction of people at wine shows and the whiskey shows and whiskey tastings and everything, and I can understand their enthusiasm. My personal favorite has been Ano from the day it was launched, or at least from the day I first tasted it. But ever since I tasted Blaaack, this is it. It's my new favorite, I have to say. I'm totally won. I'm totally amazed by this whiskey. Maybe it's because deep down I am a wine man and wine lover, and that is, I mean, I was having the same conversation last Friday with the members of the Greek Whiskey Association here. Very, very knowledgeable, hardcore whiskey experts. And I was telling them exactly that this is a wine lover's whiskey, because it has some elements that a true wine lover automatically enjoys and appreciates.
Like you.
For me, of course, we can talk all about the richness of the aromas and all kinds of things. But the first thing that comes to me, even if I didn't know that it was matured in wine barrels, is the first thing that comes to me is the aroma of the inside of the barrel, where previously was wine, red wine. That's exactly the smell that comes to my nose immediately the first time that I smelled this whiskey.
I have a piece of wine cask here.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and we can see that is the inside, and we can see it's soaked in almost half centimeter into the wood.
The thing with those wine barrels to remember is that they're not very, very heavily charred. So obviously there is some spiciness coming from the charring of the inside of the barrel, but what you do get is the freshness of the wood. The level 1, I should say, aromas that come from the pure wood of the barrel, that especially in this situation here, with the addition and the maturation of the whiskey, with the charring of the inside, bring out a fantastic richness that I really, really like.
And this addition is only aged in this Pinot Noir cask, or does it aged in other wine barrels as well?
That's it.
And how big are the barrels?
These are the standard barriques of 225 liters.
So standard wine barrels.
Yeah. Absolutely beautiful.
I have to say it's really nice.
The only thing that I don't know if you guys have the committee edition here with you, or the limited edition. Because obviously
you mean The cast strength version.
Yes, exactly.
No, we didn't receive.
Okay, because I have the limited edition as well. The only comment that I had from the members of the Greek Whiskey Association is that maybe, it's not that they tasted it, but maybe they would have preferred it to be higher in alcohol. For me, that's not the case. For me, 46 like this, it's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, whiskey can be reached at 46 as well.
Oh yes, absolutely.
It's nosing it. It comes through that the alcohol is not harsh. It's not.
It has this beautiful earthiness. Some amazing. It's like I said. It's like you went into the woods and cut the fresh wood into the forest and cut the fresh wood. It has this new fresh wood feeling. There is some sweet spiciness. There's very rich earth, a bit of pipe tobacco, nice, sweet chili, chocolate, that sort of aromas. But for me, always this wine influence makes it absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, what I have from the palate is absolutely the sweetness, fresh smoke.
Yeah.
And wood.
But the mouthfeel as well. I mean, for me, it's so it's nice and warming, of course, but it's so smooth and so balanced. It's absolutely beautiful.
And the smoke takes over.
Yeah, if you try it first, the sweetness comes, and it's surprisingly sweet for first. But then the smokiness comes in, and yeah, it's unmistakable. It's an Ardbeg. So
exactly.
Yeah.
The smoke is there at the end to tell you, do not forget that this is an Ardbeg.
Yeah.
Comparing to last year's release, the drum, it's sweeter.
Yes,
I taste this is sweeter than the drum.
That's right.
And if now the drum came up, how this edition, those are all different maturations and different finishes, and how this edition fits into the line of the Ardbeg Day editions. This year it's a red wine. Last year we had rum. The year before.
I mean, especially this year, it's something that's almost totally new, almost revolutionary, you could say. But this year is not a regular year. This year is an anniversary, so it needed to be something special, something different. Sorry, go ahead.
I just one of my questions was that, did you know how many different countries give you barrels for different kinds of Ardbegs? Because I know this is from New Zealand. I know for sure there was one wine from Germany, wine barrel for another edition. But did you keep it in mind how many different countries and how many different barrels used?
No, I don't have this record, to be honest. But I mean, if you think about it, both Glenmorangie and Ardbeg use port and sherry quite a lot. Sherry, especially in the case of Ardbeg. So let us not forget that both of those are fortified wines. So I think the number one in popularity country would be Spain, with all those barrels coming from Jerez, basically.
It's just really amazing how you guys find these different barrels. I mean, I never thought that New Zealand Pinot Noir would be good for an Ardbeg, but it proved me wrong. It's really nice.
Well, I mean, Dr. Bill Lumsden and his team, one of the things that they're really renowned for is their barrel expertise. So, and that extends to both, selecting new wood, sometimes even creating designer casks, as we call them, but also to know where to source the barrels from, and what sort of different barrels, give you different results. Dr. Bill is a genius in many respects, but his not only knowledge and expertise, but also imagination, I would think, and creativity when it comes to wood management is, amazing. It's magic.
Yeah, absolutely. And what is amazing that you should think in advance, because if you lay down a cask today, it becomes a release years later. So
Exactly.
Who knows?
Exactly, and that's why not all of us can be master distillers, because it's not what you know today. Is how you need to envisage the future, and you need to create things that let us not forget there are many stories of master distillers at the kind of later stages in their life that knew that they would have releases in their names that they wouldn't be alive to taste. So imagine how forward-thinking you need to be to create something with such a vision of the future. It's not an easy job, let's say.
But it works good so far.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. No complaints.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard there was another story about this. You said that you're using the Pinot Noir glass, and there's on that island the sheeps are 7-1 to people. Mm-hmm. And I heard another number about that 7-1. That's how an average community member gets. So they got 7 bottles at home. So that's like one community member average. You got 7 different Ardbeg at home, and that's like the number for one.
I didn't know that. I didn't know this statistic. Okay, that's quite impressive.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I can imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising now that you think of it. It's it makes sense.
Yeah, and so now all of us can taste Ardbeg Black in Good Spirit Bar, which is an Ardbeg embassy. Mm-hmm. And talking about Ardbeg embassies, what is the role of an Ardbeg embassy worldwide?
It's for us, it's extremely important, and I have to say that I consider myself very lucky to have been there in the opening of the Ardbeg embassy in Budapest, the very first one, which is actually, and I think Lavi knows this, it's actually the very first in my entire region. So in this 15 countries of Central and Southern Europe that I cover, that I represent, this is the very first Ardbeg embassy. So you are the, let's say, the object of jealousy of lots of other countries and bars and bartenders in the region. For us, there's a very important role to be played by an Ardbeg embassy, which is all about education. It's all about keeping our fans and our consumer and the Ardbeg community together, so that they know that there's always a place where they can not only enjoy their favorite whiskey, but also try new bottlings, because they know that they will find them there first. The people who work there, the owners, the bartenders, everyone who works there is very, very knowledgeable and very, very experienced. So they know how to explain, how to educate, how to give suggestions, give tips, ideas, advice, whatever. So for us, it plays an extremely important role in the communication and the spreading of the Ardbeg culture and the love of Ardbeg around the world.
Yeah, and Hungarian fans are curious about that. If they can try the new releases, and the question is Ardbeg treating non-UK embassies the same way in Europe?
Oh yes.
I mean, is it possible that we can have the new releases from now on?
Obviously, there are being outside the United Kingdom, there are logistics issues, but that's the only thing. Apart from that, the fact of being an embassy is in itself something that makes all embassies equal and equally important to us, of course.
Yeah, when you guys were here for us bartenders, there was a really good thing to hear when all the guys from Ardbeg left one by one. They came to us and say thank you for supporting Ardbeg, and it's a good job. And to be honest, that was like showing us how family friendly this place is and how all the people who works there not thinking it as a job, but
yes, that's
so
that's very true. And
for us to get that kind of, I mean, for a bartender, everybody's asked for a drink and say hi and bye, but they all came to us one by one, shake our hands, and said that thank you very much for supporting Ardbeg.
Yeah. I mean, as I'm sure you've experienced in all the times that you've been in touch with people from Ardbeg, the warmth, this family feeling is it's something that runs in our DNA. So, and this is not, I mean, what you've experienced is not some sort of, I don't know, training or some sort of political, let's say, treatment or whatever. This is genuine.
Yeah, you can tell if it's fake. I mean, that was not.
Absolutely. And, you know, if you think about it, Ardbeg rose from its ashes because, to a larger extent, because of the love of the people who were behind you. And this is something that runs through its DNA, you know, for as long as it's been around, basically.
Yeah, thank you. And talking about Ardbeg Blaaack, we are and the fans are curious if did Ardbeg Blaaack hit the shelves in Europe at the moment? So is it available? Is it available widely?
It's happening gradually. So it's going to be happening over the next period. Like I said, you know, the period that we're going through right now, it's not a normal period in any respect, sadly. So there are lots of difficulties, disruptions, whatever. But it's going to be happening. So it's not going to be long now. It's being rolled out.
Okay. But it's a limited edition, so
yes, of course.
Better to have a bottle of it.
Oh, absolutely. If you find a bottle, you know, grab it, basically. Yeah. I know.
Okay. Levi?
Yeah, that was amazing talking to you. I'm really looking forward for. I mean, that was my first special edition I tried. My favorite one was before. I think it was a special edition. I'm not sure. It was the Kelpie. I really liked that one.
Yeah.
But this is equally really good. So I know they're saying you have a lot of time, but a good job. It's a really good whiskey.
I will pass on your good words to my colleague. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, Ted. Thank you for being with us here.
It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
This evening, and thanks for all the informations. And I hope that we will meet again here in Hungary.
Yes. I really wish and hope that next time we meet, it's going to be in Budapest, because I love this city, and I like to take every opportunity to visit you there. So hopefully next time our meeting will not be virtual. Not that I didn't enjoy tonight, but I'm sure we'll enjoy it more if we're face to face. And and not like this, hopefully.
No more masks. Yeah,
it's going to be more free. Yeah.
I hope we will meet again in the autumn or at least in the winter and have a drum in the Good Spirit Bar. So thank you very much, and thanks for all the viewers. Thank you for all the viewers. So Levi, neked is köszönöm szépen.
Yeah, I was happy to be here. That was a good experience. It was good talking to you.
Absolutely, always good talking to you. Thank you very much.
We continue sipping Ardbeg Blaaack.
Let's enjoy, of course.
Thanks.
Good night, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Egészségetekre.
Egészségedre, exactly.